disaster must come. At best, only postponed. Shaolin Kung Fu, to survive, must now be taught to more young men.
Once again to another episode of Fists, Kicks, and Flicks, the podcast about martial arts, movies, and life. I am one of your hosts, Eugene Plowden, and with me as always, my podcast partner, Joe Hartley. What's up, man?
What's going on?
If this is your first time with us, I want you to know we are members of the Martial Arts Center Network. On Mondays, you got the Winner Circle with myself, Angel Diaz, Chris Walker, and Isaiah Gathings. Tuesdays is the Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. Wednesdays, you can get the traditional way with Brett Shumway. And Thursdays is us, Fists, Kicks, and Flicks with Gene, Joe, and Angel. For more information, you can check us out on all of our social media platforms. Just look for the Martial Arts Center Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Patreon. Joe, it's showtime. And once again, it's just you and I, man. So let me let the listeners know what's going on. Number one, we did not kick Angel off the team. Angel is still part of Fists, Kicks, and Flicks. But the last few weeks, everybody has been busy on the weekends. Our normal recording time is Sunday nights at 7:30, but all of us have been busy over the last few weeks. So we've been recording Fists, Kicks, and Flicks on different days throughout the week. And Angel has been training and he has been teaching, so he hasn't been able to jump on with us because of the different times. It just hasn't worked out for him. So that's the only reason why he hasn't been on the last few episode. So hopefully we can get back to our normal schedule recording days next week.
Yeah, for sure.
But what's up, man? What's going on?
A whole lot. You know, kids are out of school. I got a extra day off of work this week for Juneteenth, so I'll take that.
Okay.
And you know, just help my wife with her classroom. She's pretty much done with that. Now
How did that go?
Pretty good. You know, her stepmom showed up a couple days, and then her mom showed up the other few days. So when I got there to help out, all she needed me was to like pick up some heavy things and help her get everything in the car that needed to go to the car.
Uh-huh.
So I just played the role of Braun, which is most of our relationship anyway. So that works out pretty good for me. And then other than that, my daughter, my oldest, has been picking up some babysitting jobs. So I've been running her around to all that stuff. And spending some time at home, spending some time with my mom. And actually, I spent a few days with my aunt now that we got her all settled in her new home. And just trying to make sure she's comfortable and assess her needs. You know, because we're not quite sure where she's at in the dementia.
Okay.
Right now, and I'm, you know, that was my job for 12 years.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I remember you talking about that.
Yeah, working with the high level Alzheimer's dementia patients.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just trying to see if the care she's got is good enough for her now, or if she's gonna need some more.
Okay.
So I just go and help out. I go visit her when I can. I'm the closest right now, so she's like 15 minutes from the house. So I just check in on her, make sure everyone's doing their job, make sure she's getting enough to eat, make sure her TV stays working. That was the biggest thing. Nobody in my family is really good with technology, so literally twice I've been over there just because the TV was taken off of HDMI.
not even the kids?
The kids can, yeah. The kids are pretty good with that, but you know.
Okay.
Yeah, if I took all my kids know how to work their TVs and their iPads and their Xboxes, but just the older generation, man, they just they freak out over technology right now. So I'm always working on helping out and teaching.
Yeah, you know what, man? It's almost like we have to purposely keep playing with all the different toys and all the different technology that comes out so that when we are older, we can somewhat function. Because there's going to be some things, you know, in the next 20 or 30 years when we're in our 60s and 70s, that I don't want to be one of those people that don't know how to do anything. I'm scared to text. I can't figure out how to use a smartphone. I don't want to be one of those older people. I want to still be able to somewhat function.
I'd say about 7-8 years ago, my parents just had simple, they had smartphones, but they were just simple. They were basic.
Right.
But they were out of date. So they were at T-Mobile, their phones weren't working, and T-Mobile got them to upgrade to the funny thing was a better phone than mine. I was mad when they first got it because I was like, why you get a better phone than me? You don't even know how to use it. And they didn't. They had no idea how to use. They're like, how do I do this? How do I do it? I'm like, listen, this phone is very user friendly. You just got to know how to look at it and set up what you want. And so every day I go over there and I'd show them a little more and show them a little more. And the funny thing is, T-Mobile has a class you could take to learn how to use your technology.
Yeah, T-Mobile's great. I'm not just saying that because they signed my paychecks.
I forgot about that. So that's fantastic. So I remember the first time they got these phones, and now these phones are already out of date. But
yes,
the other day, Comcast is trying to talk my mom into getting new phones for her and my aunt, and luckily she didn't do it.
That happen.
Trust me, I know. But they were, she would have had my aunt and my mom with like brand new iPhones. Mm-hmm. My mom would be like, "This is a computer. I don't know how to use this." Same with my aunt. She barely works the remote clicker, so she's not going to figure out how to use these brand new iPhones. They'd be calling me at 10 o'clock at night trying to figure that darn thing out. So yeah, we just got to help out, figure things out, and we just trying to. She had her birthday today, so we went over there and did a little birthday celebration. Went out to lunch.
Your aunt or your mom?
My aunt.
Your aunt.
My mom's birthday's in February. Yeah, so that was nice. It was good to see her. She's not only my aunt, but she's my godmother. So I've always had a really good relationship with her. So I hate to see her in this state of mind, but since I've dealt with this kind of stuff before, I'm just trying to help navigate the rest of the family through it.
Okay.
Because they think life is over when these kind of things happen, but I'm like, no, there's still quality to life to be had. It's just it's newer, it's different. You gotta handle it a little different. So you gotta be patient. You're gonna be repeating yourself a lot. You gotta misdirect. So there's a way to do it, and like I said, have a quality of life, and so it works. And it's only her short-term memory right now. Like she could tell me things I did when I was 7-8 years old, no problem.
Okay.
But if I asked her if she had lunch, she couldn't tell you whether she had lunch, and it was 15 minutes ago. So.
Okay. All right.
But that's how it goes, and she'll have good days and bad days right now until whatever. So that's something we're handling now, and we're just enjoying the summer before everyone really gets into the groove, because Layla's gonna have marching band camp coming up. Ava's finishing all her hours for driving, and she's gonna have a license pretty soon. And then we got to navigate car insurance and car, so that should be fun. Yeah. She wants to drive to school next year, so
you got a car for her, or she's taking one of your cars?
Oh heck no, I need my car. I've been looking around. My buddy who sells cars, he said he's got a line on some good used cars. So he said he'll see what he can come up with, and with his discount, we'll see what happens. The car itself, I'm not worried about. I mean, don't get me wrong, another car in the driveway plus another payment, or if I can just pay it outright, that'd be great. But it's that car insurance, man. I just got my car insurance under $200. And now you add a new driver, that's an extra $250, I'm sure.
I'm still paying more. And I'm not going to even talk about what I'm paying right now, but Yeah, it's just highway robbery when you live in Detroit.
Oh,
Doesn't make any
I bet
sense. Yeah,
it's insurance is a scam.
yeah, yeah,
That's all there is to it, and
100%.
we have to have it. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, man. Other than that, just
Well, how was
enjoying the summer.
Father's Day?
Father's Day was good. So I worked Father's Day. Um, I worked the Father's Day. Came home. We went to my father-in-law's house. He made up a brisket and a whole bunch of barbecue sides, corn and beans, uh, all that good stuff. So yeah, we had a nice time over there. But it was hot, man. They
Yeah.
like to eat outside, and I'm one of those. I'm one of those guys. Like I'm like, nah. Let me have some air conditioning and
Yeah.
eat
Yeah.
indoors. But it was fine. We had a good time.
Good. Good. Okay.
So yeah. How about you, man? What you been up to?
Everything's good. Been going good, man. I'm gonna tell you, after last week's show, I was feeling good. After last week's show, Melissa was like, What did you do?" I just had a few tasty beverages as I was recording, and yeah, man, I was feeling good when I got off the show. I was like, man, it hit me as soon as, I think I told you, as soon as we got done recording. Yeah, well, I went up some more. And so from the time I got up out the seat till I went out to the living room to sit with her. Yeah, I was feeling good, man. I was feeling good. Other than that,
Enjoy
man,
yourself.
yeah. Everything has been going good, man. As you can see, I have a new setup here.
Yeah, I
So
noticed.
yeah, so basically this is what happened. So for Father's Day, Melissa got me these headphones, some new
Okay.
headphones. These are Beats, right? So I said, okay, cool, because my old headphones I was using was already starting to break up and everything. So I said, well, let me figure out how to use these things. So I was trying to connect them wirelessly to my other computer that's over here, and it wasn't connecting, and I didn't have a lot of time to try and figure it out. So I said, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and plug this into the mixer. And I was trying to connect my mixer to the other laptop, and for whatever reason, I'm assuming this mixer is too powerful for this other laptop because nothing will work. The camera wouldn't come on. I'm like, why? I don't even understand what this has to do with the camera. But the camera wouldn't connect, and the microphone and everything wouldn't connect. So I said, I guess I'm going to have to use the other computer. And this is the one I normally do all my editing on. So I'm using my normal computer. And so I got my old microphone. So when we first started doing Fist Kicks and Flicks, this was the microphone I was using. This in conjunction with my mixer. So I just had to pull this stuff back out, and everything's working fine. So it was cool.
That's good.
Yeah, man. So for Father's Day, so actually Saturday night, Saturday, I had to take Melissa and DJ. DJ wanted to get her hair done, so I had to take them to the shop so they can get their hair done and then pick them up and all of that stuff. It felt like she was like, "Oh wow, she's gonna get her hair done for 3 hours." I was like, "Well, I'm not sitting up there for 3 hours. I'm not waiting. I'll
Heck
drop you guys
no.
off." No, I just dropped them off and came back and picked them up. But man, that 3 hours went by so fast to me. Seemed like by the time I got back home, sat down, ate some lunch, I looked at the clock. It was like I'm about to walk back out the door. It seemed like. So I picked them up, and Melissa said, "Well, I want to take you out for Father's Day." She was like, I don't know what my dad, if he was cooking or having the family over or anything like that. We didn't know what he had planned. And I knew I was going to have Braylon, so Melissa wanted to take me out to dinner Saturday night. So she made reservations. And so I'm getting ready. I'm just thinking, like, I really don't feel like getting. I was like, what kind of restaurant is this? I'm like, can I just leave what I have on, or I got to get dressed up? And she was like, no, you gotta change clothes. They got a strict dress code.
Oh, for
And
real?
yeah, when she said that, I instantly was like, I don't really want to go. I don't feel like taking off, the t-shirt and putting on a button up, and now I got to get some dress pants, and I don't feel
Where'd you
like
go?
doing. Well, I threw a a wrinkle in that plan. So I'm I'm ironing my clothes, and I said, I really don't feel like going to a place where we got a RSVP. She's like, you don't? I was like, no. She was like, well, it's Father's Day. You can go wherever you want to go. I said, really? I was like, let's just leave our clothes on and let's just get in the car. I got a couple ideas I want to go to. So she said, all right. I said, we're going to go to 2 places. I want to pick something up from the first place, and then we're going to go to the second place. She said, okay, fine. So there is a place in, I don't even know if this is technically Dearborn or Melvindale or Allen Park. I don't know. But over there, you know where the Hill is, right? You know
Yeah.
the Hill? The Hill Shopping Center? So we went there.
Yeah.
There's a new restaurant over there called Sister Rose. And what they do is they make egg rolls, and they have different types of egg rolls. Now, these are not the little egg rolls that you get as a side with Chinese food. These things are huge. So I saw it online. I think somebody had posted, a couple of people posted it on Instagram. So I said, you know what? I want to go. I want to try out these egg rolls. They look pretty good. So I think I had a stuffed salmon egg roll. It was delicious. And I forgot Melissa got some type of honey chicken something egg roll. She enjoyed it. So we picked these things up. She got some seasoned fries with it. We're gonna have to go back, man, because they had a bunch of different types of egg rolls in there and desserts in there. Because I was looking, I saw they had a peach cobbler egg roll. And I was like, that sounds delightful.
You know what?
I want to try that.
This guy at work, so we did a potluck a while back, and he brought in some egg rolls. They weren't big like that. I mean, they were good size, but they weren't like that size. And one of them was a peach cobbler, and it was delicious.
Yeah, man, I saw that. I was just thinking, like, do I have some ice cream at home? The water.
Yeah. That would have been nice. Yeah, he did that, and my other one that I liked that he had was corned beef.
Yeah, I've had that. I've had that back in the day. Corned beef egg roll. Those are pretty good, also. And I think they had those there. But if you can look the menu up online. It's called Sister Rose. They had a lot of different stuff. So we picked a couple of those things up, and then we went to a bar down in Allen Park, and we went to I think it's called The Booth. I think that's the name of it. The Booth. So it's a bar and grill and had pool. So we went there, played some pool, just hung out, had a good time. And, Melissa had a real good time. I ain't gonna lie, she beat me in pool. We played pool for about 2 hours. She won 4 games to 2. Now, I do have to say, she won a couple of those games because I scratched. I knocked the 8 ball in, and my ball went in also. So I told her, I was like, yeah, I'll let you have that win, even though technically you did win, but you didn't beat me.
You beat yourself.
I wanted to just throw a little bit of salt on it because she was talking mess, man. She's talking mess. I'm like, yeah, I kind of beat myself, But anyway, you can have that win. So, but she won 4 games to 2, man. We had, man, I don't know what it is now, man. Lately, when I've ordered drinks, people have given me the strongest drink possible, it seems like. Now, if you've been to Allen Park before, right? You know those police officers do not play. I was actually contemplating just waiting a little bit before we left because I was feeling good. I was feeling real good. And by the time we got home, I think I had only 2 drinks, and I think Melissa she probably had 3 or 4 drinks, whatever. She wasn't driving. So when we got home, we felt really, really good, man. We had a good time, man. And I told her, I said, see, this is better than just sitting in some stuffy restaurant. I was like, we can go there anytime. I like doing stuff like, playing pool, bowling, axe throwing. Have you ever done the axe throwing?
Oh my God. Yeah. For my buddy, my best friend's bachelor party.
Oh yeah, that's right. You did talk about that before. Yeah, so I like doing that type of stuff.
I picked it up real good too. I only missed the first 2, and then I started hitting bullseyes. It was nice.
Okay. Escape rooms. I like when I go out. I like doing stuff. I don't want to just it's fine every now and then just to go to a nice little restaurant and sit. that's cool. But like for her birthday or Mother's Day, that's fine. But for me, I don't even need all that, man. There's plenty of different things we can do to have fun, So,
Yeah, for sure.
The school is going good, man. School is going good. Yep. And RoboCop will be up this week. We're just gonna do 2 this week, man. We're gonna have 2 shows up this week. I don't know, man. I have literally, when I remembered to do the stuff and it's messed up. It's not even like we gotta record. It's already recorded and sitting here. I just have to put it on the platform and then send it out. I remember like around 11:30 or 12 o'clock at night that I did not put that damn thing up yet. So this week you're gonna have 2 episodes of Superflix. This week you're gonna have RoboCop 1, and tomorrow Joe and I are gonna record RoboCop 2. So we'll have both of those out this week. Other than that, man, I have Juneteenth also off Thursday, so I'm looking forward to that. But also me and Mel, we're gonna go on vacation in July. I'm looking forward to that. We still haven't decided what we're doing 100%. So we're doing a road trip. Now, the plan originally was for us to drive from Detroit to Pittsburgh to New York. Oh, I should say New Jersey. Stay in New Jersey, but, take a train into New York. Yeah. And then go to the Poconos, then to Cleveland, and back home. So we're going to be planning to be gone for a few days. And but Mel's starting to think about that she might want to go to Niagara Falls and want to go to the U.S. side of Niagara Falls because she's never seen the U.S. side of Niagara Falls. So we might end up doing that. So, I told her, I said, well, you're going to have to make up your mind because I have hotels and stuff already, reserved. If I need to cancel, I need to know like ASAP. So I'm waiting on her to make that decision, what she want to do, So.
Yeah, Niagara Falls is fun, man. I've done it twice. Once for a vacation, and I was there for the MBL Grand National one time.
Okay, all right. Were you on the American side or Canadian?
I believe that was American.
Okay, so you were up.
No, it was Canadian. Okay. Both sides.
Okay. Yeah, I've been on both, and everybody always says, "Oh, there's more stuff on the Canadian side." Yes, I know, but there are still things on the American side also. There's still shops. There's still things you can see. Still restaurants. There's, one side might have more than the other, but just because you go to the American side doesn't mean that you're not going to enjoy yourself. It's up to you to enjoy yourself. So
they're both tourist spots, so there's lots of
There's lots to do. So but other than that, that's about it, man. Just practicing my drawing, getting used to drawing on this right here. That's my Wacom one. Getting used to drawing on that, and I have an iPad that I draw on also. So it's just a nice little learning curve, man. Trying to get these characters all done and writing and everything. So that's pretty much it, man. That's pretty much it. So let's talk about this movie, Bullet Train. This is when this movie ended, the first thing I thought was, this is a martial arts movie without the martial arts, because there's a lot of fighting in it, but they're not doing martial arts. They're just punching and kicking, of course.
Some sword fighting at the end.
Yeah, sword fighting at the end.
It comes up online as an action comedy.
Yeah, and I definitely see that. This reminded me, like I wouldn't have been surprised if Quentin Tarantino had did this movie. So this type of movie is the type of movie that I need to see more than once, because it's one of those movies where they kind of just drop you in the middle of everything, and then they constantly go back and show you what you missed 20 days ago or 2 hours
this is what's
ago.
going on. They're giving you multiple stories and then connecting them all at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So
Travis would like this type of movie. Travis will definitely like this type of movie.
Easy to get lost.
Yes.
And this is the 4th time I've seen it. And even like I kind of have to remember, like, oh yeah, they're gonna put it all together at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So and like they have a lot of people in this movie too.
Yes, but some people didn't even. I mean, it seemed like some people were in there just to waste money. Like they didn't even need to put that actor and pay that actor this
like
amount of money.
Ryan Reynolds showed his face once. Sandra Bullock, you heard her voice the whole time, but you didn't know it was her until the end.
It was like, and her character was like RZA from the last movie, because it was just a voice that we heard on the phone, and we never saw to the very, very end of the movie, just like RZA in the last movie, Nobody.
Yep. So this movie starts off, you got a parent, his son has been injured, and you kind of don't know what's going on. Now, I don't remember ever hearing his name, and so until a while, but it's Kimura, and it's funny because the first time I saw this, I didn't know who this guy was, and then I started watching Warrior, and I'm like, oh, that's Andrew Koji. That he's basically the lead in Warrior. And so I was like, I really paid attention because his character is so much different in this one, and he talks different too.
You know what's interesting? I don't even know if it's right or not, right?
Yeah.
In this movie, in Warrior, he plays a Chinese person. He came over from China. Is that right? Like, I don't know if that is right or not.
Because in this one, he's supposed to be Japanese, right?
Yeah, he's supposed to be Japanese, exactly.
But you know what's funny? So I'm starting to find out this happens with a lot of actors, because you saw the movie Hook, right?
Yeah, back in the day. Yeah.
Rufio played Mexican and Indian roles.
I wonder, is he both? I mean the actor.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, no, I'm saying that's why I'm talking about it, because he talks about he's not Mexican, but people thought he was.
Yeah,
but people thought he was.
Yeah.
So he just went with it to get roles. He never said he wasn't. He never said he was. He just said, okay, if they want to keep hiring me. He did a whole thing. I was listening and I was laughing because I'm like, that's genius. Keep everyone guessing. If they're not going to ask you straight out, or even if they do, prove it.
I think Mario Lopez did something about that too.
Yeah, I mean, I guess as long as you can get the roles, like, go for it. But it's kind of funny because I'm assuming, like, people from China and people from Japan, they're like, how dare you play one or the other? Like, you should be, humble to your background. But in acting, you got to take the roles when you can get them. I mean, Andrew Koji, he might not get another role other than Warrior. He might not get, and he only got 3 seasons out of that, and then he gets this movie. Like, what if that's his whole career? So you got to take what you can get.
Yeah. You're right. He did act way different. He was nothing. He was nothing like Assam in this movie. And I was wondering,
quiet,
real
meek.
And I'm thinking, like, okay, this movie came out after Warrior, right? So
I believe so.
So I would have thought that they would have had him had more martial arts skills or more fighting scenes as a martial artist, but they didn't have him do that in this movie, which was kind of surprising to me.
That wasn't his role, because literally the movie starts off with his father. His father comes in and he says the father's role is to protect the family. And then he says, when the son was in trouble, where was the father? So basically calling his son out, like, you dropped the ball, kid. What the hell? Now, we don't know what's going, because they don't even tell his role in all of this till the very end.
The very end.
And so you're wondering how he's connected and how his son was connected. And, like, they give you little breadcrumbs, but until the dad actually tells the full story at the end, you have no idea what the roles are with these two, including the son. And it's interesting because the same thing I hate about this movie is also the same thing I love. because it does get annoying that they're always breaking off in the middle of the story. So you have the main story that's going throughout the entire thing, but then they'll break off and introduce this new character, and you have no idea what he's doing, and all of a sudden they'll tie him into the story.
Yeah, and we talked about this before. I don't know what movie we watched and discussed, but we had this issue happen before, and I told you it always it takes me out of the movie because I'm thinking and I'm trying to figure out what the hell is going on, what the hell am I watching?
Was it
And
Hero?
huh?
Was it Hero with Jet Li?
I have no idea what it is. I think we've seen this type of movie more than once, but it just always kind of brings me out, and I start wondering like, what the hell? Like I try and figure out the storyline for this other character and what they may or may not try and do and what they're trying to accomplish. Meanwhile, this other thing, they're showing me this other thing now, and I'm halfway paying attention because I'm thinking about this other thing over here. So sometimes I don't like it, and like I said, this is one of those movies that I would have to watch probably 3 or 4 times before I say, "Oh, I get it now." I understand what they were saying or what they were trying to accomplish.
So after they give us a little bit of Kimura's story, they give us Brad Pitt's character, Ladybug. And from what I can gather, he's talking to someone on the phone. And this is his first job in a while. He's been out of work. He's been seeking a therapist. And so he asked for a job that was kind of simple. He's not looking for, he doesn't like to kill people anymore. He just wants like a snatch and grab kind of job. So
okay.
his handler is talking to him on the phone, and he's talking about having bad luck. And since he's always talking about bad luck, she calls him Ladybug, which is supposed to be good luck.
See, I missed all of that. You know why? Because I was trying to figure out what the hell they were talking about earlier. Because at the beginning, they weren't speaking English, were they? I don't think so.
No, they were. Some of it, most of it.
They were? Because I was thinking, I was like, man, I hope this damn movie is not subtitled the whole way through. That's what I was thinking.
So the funny thing is, he's not even supposed to be doing this job. He's filling in for Carver. And we don't even know about Carver, who he is, until they bring Carver up later. And that's Ryan Reynolds. That's the only time we see Ryan Reynolds is when they bring him up in a flashback. But he's never, and like I said, he's Carver, but we don't know who he is. Other than that, that's the only time you hear about him. Yeah. So he's supposed to get on this train, retrieve a briefcase, and then get off. That's it. So he's asked for some supplies, which were put into a locker at the bullet train station, and his handler put an extra part that he didn't ask for, and it was a gun. And she told him to take the gun, but he doesn't want to take the gun. So at the same time, we watch Kimura get on, and then we start meeting all the characters that we're going to run into on this train. The funny thing is, some of these people don't even pop up till later in the movie. So, like I said, there's always, whoever this director was, they like to throw little bits and pieces at you and then little surprises.
Yeah, and then they'll come back to something that they showed you earlier. Like the whole thing with the water.
Like that was ridiculous.
Okay, let's talk about that right quick. So later on in the movie, Brad Pitt puts this white powder in a water bottle. Now,
sleeping powder.
So someone's going to drink this later, because why else would they show that to us unless we know that somebody's going to drink it? They even went out their way to talk about the powder after the scene that you were talking about, when he went through the locker and he was taking out all of his supplies, and we see him with the powder and he looks at it, and I think Sandra Bullock's character says something about that at that time also. So this powder is going to come into play at some point. And of course, later on in the movie, we see him put the powder in the water and in a water bottle, and someone's going to drink it, and someone does, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But damn near at the end of the movie, this water bottles comes back into play. Something I completely forgot about because I saw what it was supposed to do. Somebody drunk it, somebody passed out. And show us when Brad Pitt put it back in, and it shows us the travel of this damn water bottle. It went to this person, and it went to this person, and it rolled
when it
across
was
the floor.
purchased.
Yes.
When it did this, when it rolled, when it went into a drain pipe or whatever. Yeah.
Right. I was like, okay, so you're gonna.
And then it was used as a weapon.
Yes, and then they bring it back to now. It's like, okay, I see what type of movie this is going to be. You have to pay attention. This is not a movie you can be on your phone or anything because you're going to miss something.
Now, I'm going to tell you, because my two favorite characters in this, and I don't know if they were yours or not, but Lemon and Tangerine. I don't know who these actors were. I've never seen these actors before.
Yeah, you have.
Brian Tyree Henry.
You have seen
Aaron
Tangerine.
Where?
Yes. Tangerine was in not Spy Kids. He was in the other movie that's what's the movie that's like Spy Kids? We watched. He was a superhero. He was a superhero kid. It was 3 of them.
Oh yeah.
What was that movie? Kick-Ass. He was what? He was the
that
friend.
was him.
Yeah, and then and then Avengers Ultron, he is Quicksilver in Ultron. So you've seen him before, and in the newest Sony Spider-Man universe, he's Kraven. That's him.
That is.
Yeah.
You know what? Did you watch Kraven? I just watched recently, and it was not that bad.
No,
it got bad reviews. It wasn't great. Don't get me wrong; it wasn't great, but it was not that bad.
I fell asleep on the very end.
Kraven. Nosferatu. Ugh. Okay, yes. There's a lot of other stuff he's been in that I don't even know, but
yeah.
Okay, I didn't realize he was part of Kick-Ass.
I kept looking at him and I was wondering, like, is this the guy from Kingdom? I thought he was the guy from Kingdom, one of the brothers in Kingdom.
And
I was like, I know him from somewhere. So then I typed in the cast and I saw, I was like, oh yeah, I can see it now. But did they ever explain why their names were Lemon and Tangerine?
No.
Thomas the Tank Engine. And I didn't understand what the hell they were talking about when it came to that.
Lemon's thing was Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yes.
He basically he said that's how he learned how to read people was from the show Thomas the Tank Engine.
Right.
So he would label people based on the characters, and the worst one you could be was Diesel.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were labeled a Diesel, then like you were the worst bad guy. And he was basically, when they're trying to figure out what was going on and everything started to unravel, he said right away, there's a Diesel on this train and I'm going to find him.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It was interesting.
But they never explained why their names were Lemon and Tangerine, because I mean, it was like a running gag at first where people kept on saying like the fruit or something like that. And he kept bringing it back to Thomas. And, you know, he was talking about, and I was like, man, are one of those tanks named Thomas? Because I don't remember. I mean, Lemon, because I don't remember them being called Tangerine or Lemon or anything like that. I think
that's just part of how it was.
Okay.
So they bring us back to Kimura, and he got a note of the person that pushed his son off a building.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they were on this bullet train.
Mm-hmm.
And so when he shows up to the seat of where this person was, it's a young girl. And so he thinks he's mistaken who this was. And so he puts his gun back, and then she tases him. And so obviously he's got the right person, and she's some kind of sheep in wolf's clothing, or wolf in sheep's clothing. So she doesn't really get revealed to the very end of who she really is.
Well, I knew she was somebody at this point.
Yeah. Well, she's got a whole plan of her own, and most of this whole thing evolves around her.
But you don't really know that.
Yeah, it's a little crazy.
Yeah.
So we go back after that. So he falls, and we see Ladybug. He's supposed to go get this briefcase with a train sticker on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see Bullet and Tangerine talking about different things. And he goes right to the luggage and he finds it right away. He's actually shocked that he finds this right away. So he's supposed to get off at the next stop and his mission's supposed to be over.
Now, yeah, you're right. Now, when he first got on the train, the conductor asked him for his ticket. He did not have his ticket. And I thought that was going to be a bigger issue throughout the movie.
He did have a receipt.
Yeah. So he had the receipt. And the conductor told him, well, you got to get off at the next stop. Every time the damn train stopped, he tried to get off, and there was always some reason to keep him on that train the whole time. And I thought they were going to play into that more because we see it one time where he's trying to make sure that the conductor guy does not see him, but they only did it the one time. I would have thought they would have did it more, or had the conductor see him or chase him around or anything, but they didn't do that.
So Lemon and Tangerine are the ones who were supposed to be watching the case because the case supposedly has $10 million in it. They're also supposed to find the son of who hired them and keep him safe, and together show up, the both of them, the son with the money, to their buyer, to the person who hired them.
Right.
But of course, this gets very mixed up because this is where everything kind of starts to go wrong. Because these two are arguing about their last job where they killed, like, I guess they kept saying 16 or 17 people. So they go back as a flashback, and we get to see them in action. And
it's just silliness.
They're good at what they do.
Yeah, and it's just
they're good at what they do. They're killing everybody, and they're counting as they go, and they get to 16. And then a car blows up, and a random person who was walking by to check on them blows up. And so Tangerine says that's 17. Lemon says, oh, that one doesn't count because that wasn't our fault.
Right. And like I said, I think they were even looking at the camera, like breaking the fourth wall as they were counting, as they were showing this in this flashback. And I said, yeah, this is going to be a silly movie. Okay.
At the time that I first watched this, I didn't realize it was supposed to be a action comedy, but it made sense after I read that. So, Tangerine asked Lemon about the briefcase and where it's at. He told him he hid it, which, by the way, you didn't really hide it. You put it with the rest of the luggage.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not very good. That's not hiding.
He just put a bag on top of it. That was it.
Put it in a safe space, which is not what he did.
Why would you do that? There's no. Listen, if I have $1,000 in the bag, I'm not putting it away. It's not leaving my sight. And they have a briefcase with $10 million, and we don't know what else is in that briefcase. It's not leaving my sight.
So then, wait, how did we get to? Okay. Then we see Lemon gets up and he's missing the briefcase is missing. So Tangerine gets up and said, he goes to help them. Now they're freaking out because they talk about who their boss is right now. And they've talked about what he does to people when they mess up. Mm-hmm. So their boss is White Death because, of course, that's his name. Mm-hmm. And they're basically saying, listen, this guy, just for a minor infraction, this guy cuts your hand off. So if we mess up this whole job, like he's probably just going to kill us. So they have like 6 more stations to stop at before they get to the station which is in Kyoto, to meet up with their boss and make sure everything's right by then. Otherwise, they're basically saying they're dead.
Mm-hmm.
Then we go back to Kimura and this girl, which, by the way, this girl, they call her Prince at some point.
Yes.
They give everybody weird names.
They explain that, but I don't even remember.
It's not really important.
Explanation.
So she explains to Kimura that she has somebody on the sun, and if she doesn't answer her phone when this person calls, he's instructed to kill the son.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I thought the dad was there, but I guess the dad left, or at least that's what they want us to think. Because I would have figured the dad seems pretty well connected. He would have just killed the guy, but whatever. That gets taken care of later.
Mm-hmm.
So she's basically telling this guy, I'm here. I brought you here to help me kill the White Death.
Mm-hmm.
So now we go back to another flashback. And this flashback is talking about White Death. And basically, White Death is a big Russian who somehow got into a Chinese or a Japanese triad and eventually took it over by killing the leader.
Mm-hmm.
So he worked his way up to a certain point and then decided to turn on the whole thing. And I don't know how he got the rest of the triad to turn with him, but he killed the leader, called himself White Death. And, that's basically his story. Burnt down the building, supposedly killed the whole family. But as we find out later, he didn't kill everybody.
Yeah. I've never heard of anything like that before. A person being able to take over a triad, but okay.
I never heard of a Japanese triad letting some random white Russian come in.
No, that's what I mean. Yeah, exactly. So, but hey, it
Usually
is what it
like
is. Hey, I'm gonna go with it for the story. I'm gonna go with it for the story.
So now, Tangerine is explaining this to Lemon and talking about like who they're having to deal with is going to be like they don't want to mess with this guy. This guy is super serious. Now, for the same reason, Kimura knows who White Death is, and he don't want nothing to do with it either. But at this point, he has no choice because his son, everything with his son is on the line. So he's kind of just got to go with it and try to figure out a way out of this whole situation. And this girl, she's very matter of fact about everything. And she's also, you could tell like she's messed up in the head, but she's also very good at, if she finds herself in trouble, she turns on the little girl act.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my God, please help me. I don't know what I'm doing. Blah, 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 blah.
And that's another thing because everybody kept treating her like a kid, but I don't think they ever really said how old she was, but I don't think she was a kid, even though everybody kept calling her a kid.
Pretty much. Yeah, I was kind of thinking the same thing. So again, we're just going back and forth to all these stories here to the point of, they give us another guy who has nothing that we think has nothing to do with the whole story. Oh, no, not yet. First, Lemon and Tangerine are like, okay, let's go back, take care of the son, and then we'll find the briefcase. But of course, they come back. The son is bleeding from his eyes, and he dead.
Mm-hmm. And they don't know who killed him.
Yeah. So they have no idea who killed this guy. And now they're in serious trouble because that was like number one, and then the briefcase is gone. So their mission is just screwed right now. They got to figure things out. But after all that, so I'm thinking like, okay, we need to find out what happened. But no, they go into this other story of the wolf. And at first I'm going, what is this guy? This guy hasn't shown up. He's not on the train.
Mm-hmm.
Why are they showing us the story of the wolf? But whatever.
And they do a flashback as showing us, because what ends up happening is the Brad Pitt character, Ladybug, is about to get off of the train. And then next thing you know, the wolf is standing there. And he sees him and he attacks him. And I'm like, why is he attacking him? And then they all of a sudden just go back into another flashback.
Yeah. So the wolf, he came up, from the bottom. He made a name for himself. He got himself a girl. He took over. By the way, he's Mexican. So he's in Mexico with the Mexican cartel. I like this character.
Yeah.
This is Bad Bunny. This is Bad Bunny playing this guy.
Okay.
At his wedding, the Brad Pitt character, which we didn't know was him at the time, bumped into him accidentally and spilled wine on him.
That's right, because when they showed us that in the flashback, we never saw who did it. We just saw the back.
Yeah.
We barely saw that person's head. We just kind of saw the back and their upper shoulder. We didn't see who it was.
But they do show us later who it was. Mm-hmm. So by him, just that split second, by him missing out, he missed out. So this whole thing was a setup to kill everyone at the wedding, and including him. But he didn't eat the cake, I think it was, or the drink or something. He didn't drink the wine. I think it was the drink,
yeah, because when he bumped into him, the wine got on his suit.
Yeah.
So whatever everyone else was eating or drinking, he didn't get a chance to do it. He went to go clean the suit. And when he came back, everybody is dying.
So he gets on the bullet train with an envelope of who killed his whole family and his wife.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's there to kill them. But when he steps on the train, of course, he sees Ladybug. Now, I assume that was who was in the envelope, but then we find out, no, the only reason he wanted to fight Ladybug is because Ladybug's the one that bumped him. So he had just remembered him from the wedding, but he had another target. He just
so he knew Ladybug was one of the waiters at his wedding. And I guess he just put two and two together. It's like, hey, you're not dead. Everybody else is there. You served us, so you must have been the one who poisoned, my family.
But he had an envelope with the person in it, so he's just pissed off at Ladybug,
mm-hmm.
and he's got rage. This is pre-rage before the real kill.
Mm-hmm.
So of course we kind of get to see what kind of skills Ladybug has, and without a weapon at first. I mean, he's using a briefcase to fight off this dude with a machete, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But the funny thing is, he's trying to say, dude, can we just talk? Like, he's trying to be zen about everything.
Yeah, he's like, I don't even know you.
Yeah.
He didn't know him or remember him.
During the fight, he accidentally kills this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't know how you accidentally... Yeah.
Because you built this guy up. You built Wolf up. You give him a whole backstory, and we get a flashback just to kill him, and we don't get anything else about him through the rest of the movie, do we? That was just it.
Just who actually did kill his people.
Yeah, but I mean, like
that's it.
I mean, yeah, I mean that didn't really need. I mean, they could have edited that out, and it wouldn't have had any effect on the movie.
No, I agree. I agree. So the funny thing is, now we go back. Ladybug's trying to figure out what the heck this was all about. So he's checking his phone and checking the envelope. Meanwhile, Lemon and Tangerine are trying to cover up the fact that the son is dead. So they put a pair of ridiculous ass glasses on him because he was bleeding from his eyes. So he was poisoned. And then again, Ladybug's trying to get off this doggone train.
Right.
And he just can't seem to do it. Every time he tries, he can't do it. So
every stop.
Then
it's always
well, Ladybug sees Lemon, and I guess he had a run-in with Lemon at some point. So he's trying to figure out what he's doing there. And there's some big, ridiculous mascot tries to take the suitcase from or the briefcase from him.
Yes.
So now we're like, what is that all about?
Yes. It's a lot of that going on. It's a lot of that going on throughout the whole movie.
A lot. So then we go back to we go back to so now he calls his handler and says the twins are here. Which is funny because everyone keeps calling these two the twins, but they're obviously not twins. They're probably adopted brothers, I'm assuming.
They never explain it.
No, everyone calls them the twins. Nobody's seeing them together except for Ladybug.
Yeah, but they do a flashback of them when they were kids, and they were kids together, but they didn't explain if one was adopted.
Never did.
No, or if one, or maybe maybe they had the same father or the same mother. They don't explain any of that, but they did know each other when they were little. So, and they called each other brother. I guess they're just leaving that to our imagination.
So,
but I think we should say one of them is black and the other one is white. We didn't explain that.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I mean, crazier things have happened, but
Lemon is the black guy. Lemon is the black guy. Tangerine is the white guy.
So Prince finds the briefcase and tells Kimura to open it, and then she goes off to do whatever. And she also gives away Ladybug for having the briefcase, to Tangerine. So Tangerine texts his brother to look out for the guy with the glasses, but Ladybug shows up to take on Tangerine, and they have their own little battle right in the chair in the quiet car. Because of course, why not? And I mean, it was funny, it was okay, but it got a little ridiculous. Especially because, I wish Ladybug would have stopped the whole Zen thing and just finally let loose. That whole Zen act was just annoying.
I there was a lot of stuff going.
He tried to hold up Lemon with an imaginary gun under the table.
Yeah. You know what? I saw that part and I assumed he really had a gun. I didn't know it was imaginary.
Lemon knew because he's a trained assassin. You're not going to fool a trained assassin like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so...
And this was the part about the water, right?
Yeah. So, after they fought and eventually Ladybug got the upper hand, he poured the sleeping stuff in the water and shook it up.
And then just kind of left it there.
But before that, Lemon pointed him out as a possible Diesel. And the funny thing is, Ladybug knew what he was talking about. He said, "No, man, I can't be a Diesel." He's like, "That's not good." So I thought that was kind of funny. So I like some of the stuff that happened there, just because, like him disarming the gun the way he did, and then the way he put the gun on the table and got the stuff, like that was fun. And all that, and the way he had to push himself off the chair. It was kind of weird that he put the stuff in the water, but there was no way of actually telling whether that dude was going to drink it or not. Like anybody could have drunk that.
Yeah. Did he even know that was Lemon's water?
No, I don't think he did, but I think he just was hoping that it would just slow him down. Is my guess. And then now that he knows White Death is involved, now he's really trying to get out. Because then he's going back trying to think of like what happened that same day. And then they keep going back. So he's going through the luggage trying to block the door, and a snake pops out, and he remembers a report earlier about this snake that's super poisonous that escaped. And so he's trying to get out of the car. Tangerine shows back up, trying to figure out what the hell's going on with his brother. And he's just like trying to figure out all together where Ladybug is. And then, who do we get? We get Channing Tatum randomly.
Yeah. another person, and I was thinking like, okay, he better have a bigger
I thought so, but
purpose in this movie. Otherwise, this is just wasted
didn't.
money.
He was just there.
No, he didn't. Not at all.
Because he only had like 4 lines.
I mean, he served a purpose, but anybody could have did that. They didn't need to pay Channing Tatum unless he just like, hey, I just want to have some fun. I'll do this. But I mean, they paid him a lot of money just to sit there, and the Ladybug, gives him his clothes to wear, to fool. Was it Tangerine that he was trying to fool? That was looking for that was looking for Ladybug.
Was looking for Ladybug, yes.
Yeah.
So
so he shows up with him and he realizes, well, this is not the right person. I'm looking for.
Yeah. So skipping ahead a little bit, Tangerine and Lemon get a call from the White Death people, and they want to see the son and the two of them before they get off at their stop. So they got to get out of the car, and they pull a Weekend at Bernie's kind of move.
Yeah, that was pretty silly.
Yeah, it was nuts, but I mean, they're trying to not piss off White Death the best they can, but they're trying to buy some time. So he talks his way out of it, and they gets back on the train, and then they're gonna meet in Kyoto. And he gets back on, and I mean, the fact that the son had the big glasses on should have given away something was wrong, but whatever. What do I know?
Yeah, I would have been thinking, like, why does he have those on? And what's he doing with them?
So they're trying to figure out their next move. And let me go a little ahead here. Tangerine runs into Ladybug, and he at this point has assumed that Ladybug is the one that killed the son. Mm-hmm. And even if he didn't, he is going to pin it on him to save his own ass.
Yeah.
So they have a big fight. Ladybug's trying to talk his way out of it. But like I said, Tangerine even tells him, I don't care if you did it or not. I'm going to kill you and then tell them you did it. Save my own ass.
Right. Which is smart.
And I get that. I mean,
yeah.
And frankly, this is what was supposed to happen. Because, I mean, even before we get to the end, like, this whole thing was set up by the White Death. All in all. Slowly but surely, that's what it comes down to. Because everything keeps coming back to him. So, these two almost fall out of the train. And then they finally sit down and try to figure out, like, what the best way to do all this. Like, how to get out of this whole situation together. Now, Ladybug says, well, do they know what your brother looks like? Because they want to see both of them together.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, no. So, like, well, okay, I'll just pretend to be your brother. Kind of smart.
Mm-hmm.
The one guy even says they look alike. So I don't know what they grabbed for the case, but they got a case. They got each other. Mm-hmm. And so everything's going well until Ladybug tries to sell it, and he accidentally rolls the right combination and opens it up, and then they have to get back on the train again.
Yeah, because those guys knew what those items that fell out weren't supposed to be in the briefcase. So they knew that was the wrong briefcase. That was not right at all.
Meanwhile, Lemon runs into Kimura and Prince, and he has what he says is basically a foolproof way to figure out who's who. Close your eyes. If this person is pointing there and this person, it was really dumb the way he did that. Yes. Because he ended up shooting the wrong person.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, he shot Kimura and he didn't die. It would have been better if he shot the prince, because that would have solved a lot of problems, but it would have hurt our story.
Well, yeah, so the prince, she was pointing at Kimura. That's why he got shot, right?
Yeah, but Kimura could have pointed at her, and then they would have had to start all over. But as smart as Lemon pretended to be, I thought he could have figured out like something wasn't right.
But he did say that after he shot him, he figured that out.
He found a gun in the girl's backpack.
Mm-hmm.
And was like, why didn't you just use it to shoot him? Because then he calls her the Diesel, which he finally got it right. Because earlier he was putting Ladybugs as the Diesel, but he was 100% right. So she shoots him, but he started to fall asleep from drinking the water, and then she shoots him to make sure that he's dead. But as we found out earlier, he had a vest on. He was talking about having a vest on. So you almost wonder, like...
And I missed that part when he was talking about that.
Yeah, he talked about it earlier about... Because his brother was like, why are you wearing a vest? Like, just don't get shot.
Yeah, I totally missed that.
And now, who else gets on the train but the father?
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm really like, what the heck?
What did they call him? The elder? Is that what they called him?
Yeah, the elder.
Yeah.
But also, Ladybug opens up the wolf's envelope and sees a new assassin we don't even know about called the Hornet. And she was in that stupid ass costume.
Right. What was that character?
I don't know, man. Some Japanese bullshit.
It was like, is that do they call that a Chibli or Chibli or something like that? Or
you know what? If you know that, that's more than I know.
Something, whatever that character was supposed to be.
Well, the crazy thing is, all of a sudden, the Ladybug, when he sees the picture, he remembers her being at the wedding as well.
Yes. So once again, we go all the way back to another flashback to the same wedding that Wolf was having. They just show us extra part that we didn't see the first time during the wedding. Exactly. And we see that the Hornet is there.
Well, the crazy part is she uses the same poison she used on the Sun. She gets Ladybug with it, but then he stabs her with it, knowing that she would probably have the antidote, which was super smart, because the second she reaches for the antidote, he just snatches it from her and hits himself with it.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Yeah.
It was hilarious because she dies horribly. And he said he blamed it on karma. But he also said, you got to be more prepared. Like, you should have 2 antidotes. He's not wrong. I mean, he has he has his own way of being prepared, so it is what it is. So that part was kind of funny. And
then she's gone.
Like I said, yeah,
she's gone. Now we've seen her in other movies also. I think she was in the Deadpool movie. I think she played.
She was in the second one. She was in the second one. She was Lucky or Dynamo or something like that.
Yeah, Domino. That's what
Domino.
She was.
So Tangerine comes back and he sees his brother dead, and of course he's very upset. He takes a necklace off. I guess that was his special necklace. Puts it around his brother's neck as kind of like a goodbye, brother, I love you. And then he goes, and I think he's not quite sure what the hell happened yet. But now he still has to figure out how to save his own life. And then at this point, we got Ladybug acting like an idiot, like usual. We got Tangerine. Basically, now he's pissed off and upset. So when White Death people call again, he's telling them everything. Like, he's like, I don't care. Come and get me. Go to hell. I don't care. Like, he's kamikaze at this point. So then that's where you said we go back and kind of see them as younger kids and growing up together. And then this girl, Prince, is about to mess things up again for everybody. Because now she comes out and plays the little girl act again for Tangerine. And he falls for it until he sees the Diesel sticker on her back.
Mm-hmm.
But it's too late because she shoots him anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And then she makes her way over to Ladybug.
But he wasn't dead.
Not yet.
No. Because I thought Ladybug
No,
shot
she
up
killed Tangerine. No,
I thought Ladybug did because go ahead. I'll tell you why in a second. You're going to get there in a minute.
Okay, so she's talking to Ladybug, and then the father calls, and like I said, he joins both of them. And at first, Ladybug is kind of telling the father, like, dude, you're being creepy, like, get out of here.
Yeah, because there was nobody else on the train. And he came and sat right seats. You had to come sit right next to us.
Yes.
So they thought that was a little weird.
At the same time, Ladybug gets bit by a damn snake.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's so crazy because to me because I was laughing because I was like, oh, now after all he's been through, he's going to die. But then he even says, I've already been hit with some anti-venom today, so I should be good.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know how that works, so I assume he's right, but I guess. Meanwhile, we see the elder.
That's exactly what I said.
The elder is gonna he realizes this is the girl that pushed the grandson, and so she basically says, well, I killed your son, now I'm gonna have your grandson killed, and then I'm gonna kill you. She's real cocky to him, but he's not even dealing with her. He tells her straight up, my son's not dead. My grandson, if you think I'm going to leave him alone, you're stupid.
I like that part. Yeah.
And he has her mercenary killed by one of his guys. And then he's basically like, now all I got to do is, kill you. And I mean, what is she supposed to do now? And the funny thing is, we still don't know who the hell this girl is.
Nope.
So she runs away. Ladybug's confused. And now we're going to get another damn story. And the story we're going to get is the elders. Which, by the way, he keeps telling Ladybug, I'm going to tell you a quick story. But Ladybug's like, I don't want to hear it. I don't care. He's like, I just want to get off this damn train.
Right. Well, yeah, he doesn't want to stay on there too long. He knows what's going to happen if he stays on there too long.
Well, especially because he knows White Death is coming. So the elder tells the story, and the story is really quick. Basically, when the White Death was killing everybody, the elder got away with his son.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I mean, that's the story more or less in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm.
So he's been plotting revenge against White Death this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
He's been playing the long game, I guess.
That's exactly what he's been doing.
Because did they even say the timeline? Like, how long ago did all this happen?
Well, his son was a little kid. So his son looked like at this point in time, he might have been in his early 30s or late 20s.
Yeah, so 20 plus years.
Yeah. Because his son looked like at that time when they were telling the story, he looked like he might have been 5 or 6.
So then basically, I mean, everything starts to kind of get put together because at this point, Lemon wakes up.
Yes. And Lemon was mad at Ladybug. He's like, you shot my brother. So that's why I
he
said
shot him, but I don't think he killed him.
Say that again.
Maybe you're right. I didn't
Yeah,
think
because
he.
I thought he
didn't
shot
think
him in the
killed
neck. I thought he shot him in the
Oh,
neck,
yeah.
and then all of that blood came out.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
So then,
but I don't think he did. I don't think he did. He do it on purpose. I don't think. Weren't they tussling around or something?
nothing he does is on purpose.
Yeah, so I can't remember how it went or what happened, but I don't think he
Supposedly.
did it on purpose. I'm quite sure Jeff will tell us. He's seen it.
So,
I'm sure he has.
So the conclusion of this whole thing basically is White Death set the whole thing up. He bought all the people. He wanted all the assassins. He wanted his son dead.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted all the assassins to kill each other. I don't even think he cared about the money, it seemed like. Now, the thing that the only thing I'm wondering is, did he know his daughter was here the whole time?
I don't know.
She wanted to kill him.
Yeah.
And he didn't seem to care about her any more than he cared about his son.
It seemed like the daughter felt like he gave favoritism to the son.
Yeah.
Prince. That seemed like that's what she thought.
Because the White Death, his real beef was with the brothers because he feels they were the ones that killed his wife.
Mm-hmm.
And then the surgeon, the only surgeon that could help his wife, was killed by the Hornet.
Yeah.
So those are the only three that he was after. Everybody else was just kind of caught in the crossfire. But then, like I said, his daughter kind of snuck up on him, and the elder snuck up on him because he wasn't. He said, he called him a cockroach.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason to call someone a cockroach is someone that you thought was dead that just keeps coming back.
Did they ever explain what happened? I don't remember what happened to the briefcase.
I mean, I assume somebody found it, but this is the part where they show, I know. It wasn't the brothers that he wanted dead. He wanted Carver. He thought Ladybug was Carver.
Right.
Ladybug's trying to explain to him, I'm not Carver.
Right.
I'm filling in for Carver. And that's the only time they show Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, that was quick. Like, he was on the screen for 5 seconds, 4 seconds. And they just showed him real quick.
So now at this point, Lemon's he's working on the train because he's the train guy. And they're trying to get it going again. The Elder is fighting with White Death. Who is anybody going after the daughter? I forget.
They made her disappear. She disappeared, and she does not show right back up to the very, very end. Because I was wondering, damn, I was like, everybody's down. I don't remember the daughter dying. I thought I might have missed something or looked away real quick and missed her dying. So she doesn't show back up to the very, very end. You damn near forget about her.
Yeah, because the whole time everybody's fighting and everybody's having craziness go on. Then the train crashes. It was interesting that what they were showing how how Ladybug survived the crash because he was flying and he could have flew right into something, and instead he flew into the big plushie.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. That whole thing was ridiculous because that train gets derailed and goes through a city and is going through buildings, and the bullet train is breaking apart. So all of the different carts are coming apart from each other. And we see him acting silly, looking silly as all of this is going on. It was kind of ridiculous.
And then the crazier part is White Death has Ladybug in his sights. He's pissed off. And the daughter had this gun that she rigged to blow up when you shoot it.
Yeah.
And she always anticipated somehow her father using it to shoot her or to shoot somebody. I don't know why why this father was supposed to shoot this gun at the time, but he did, and then he blew his own head off. And it was supposed to be good. And so the son, the Elder, and Ladybug try to get away. And of course, Prince shows up. And she has a Tommy gun. And she's supposed to blow everyone away. And then a truck full of tangerines just blasts right into her.
Just comes by,
when,
runs her over.
And then,
and once again, you don't even know. You just think like that was some dumb luck.
Yeah.
You think it's dumb luck at that time when it happens, but there's more to it that we see at the very, very end.
Well, we see Ladybug's handler show up, and it's Sandra Bullock, which I thought was okay, just another, like you said, random person to pay, but whatever. And then they show us another very last flashback of Lemon falling
out the train,
finding a truck, falling off the train, getting back, getting in a truck full of tangerines, which I'm assuming he took as the sign.
Yep.
Because that's his brother. And then he drives it, and then all of a sudden he sees her, and he just drives right into her.
Yep. And that's it. That's the end of the movie. So that was Bullet Train. Joe, what grade are you giving Bullet Train?
All right, man. I'm gonna tell you, I like this movie a lot. I don't mind movies that jump around a little bit, but you know, it did take away from it a little bit from me, but not fully. So I'm good giving this a B+.
B+. Okay. I'm going to give it a B-. I didn't mind it. It was still funny. It was enjoyable. Like I said, if you would have take Brad Pitt out of this movie and put Jackie Chan here, and instead of the White Death, the guy who played White Death, let's say you put Jean-Claude Van Damme, this movie then becomes a martial arts movie because they're going to do martial arts. They're going to have fighting scenes, real fighting scenes, without shooting or whatever. And you might even throw some other people that you've seen in martial arts movie. You could have had the same story, you know, and this would have made it 100% a martial arts movie. But the story like this, I could see this. I could see a bunch of different martial arts movies having this exact same story, but just having, you know, martial arts fight scenes. That was the only thing that this movie was missing, was the karate fight scenes or martial arts fighting scenes.
For sure.
I give it a B- also. Well, I give it a B-. You give it a B+. All right. Well, cool, man. That's it. You got anything else?
Not really. Are we going to do Dragon Ball next week?
Yep. Let's get it over with. You know, so I'll let Angel know and bet he try and weasel out of it. If he tries to weasel out of doing this, then we're going to save it. And I'll text you as to what we'll do. But he's watching this Dragon Ball Evolution movie. So. All right. All right, so I'll put the RoboCop off. So RoboCop will be out for Superflix, RoboCop 1 and 2 this week. Everyone stay safe, stay strong. We'll holler at you next week, and I will play our music.
Disaster must come. At best, only postponed. Shaolin Kung Fu, to survive, must now be taught to more young men.